The first step in stream processing is to basically get the stream. And we can generate streams from many sources. So this is the first thing that we will be covering, and which is to basically generate the streams from a source. Now in Java, there are main 4 categories of stream generation. Number 1 is basically static factory methods. So there are static factory methods in the stream class, and we can use them to create or generate a stream. Then from arrays, if we have an array, then we can create a stream out of that array. Number 3 is from collection, and it includes a variety of collections. If you have a list, key set, or value set, or entries from the map, if we have those collections, then we can create or generate a stream from those collections. Then number 4 is files. If we have a file, if we want to read the file, then we can utilize a stream to read the content from the file. So we will be focusing on these methods one by one. So let's start with the static factory methods. In the stream class, there are some methods, some factory methods that can be used to generate a stream. Now here we see, if we type of, then there are 3 variants of method of. This of basically it accepts a variable argument values, so we can pass multiple values, and as an output we can get the stream of those values. Then we can generate the stream of a single element, which is of, that receives a single input argument t. Then there is of nullable, which basically makes sure that we don't get a null pointer exception if the source is null. So let's see that. If we use the Stream.of and then simply pass a single value, then in the output we get a stream of string. So here we have a stream of string, but there is only a single element hello, and the stream will be initialized, but there is no processing because streams are not evaluated until we call a terminal operation. Since we have not called any terminal operations, so this code will simply set up a stream, but it doesn't hold any data. And if we simply print the object of the stream, then we will see a reference only. So here we see the reference of a stream. Similarly, we can call the of method again and pass multiple values. So let's say apple, banana, grapes. So this will be a fruit stream again of type string. So if we are using the var version of the of method, then we can pass multiple values and we can get the stream from those values. And again, if we try to see what's there in the fruit stream, then we won't see anything, just a reference. So the code simply sets up the stream. So this is the fruit stream, we don't see anything. Now consider we are calling the of method, but by mistake we pass the null. Maybe the source is null, it's not initialized. Then in that case we may get a null pointer exception here. To avoid that, we should use of nullable, and if now we pass the null value, then this time there is no exception, we simply get an empty string. So if we go to the documentation, it says that requires a sequential stream containing a single element if non-null, otherwise returns an empty stream. So it makes sure that we don't get the null pointer exception. If the source is null, then we will get an empty stream in the output. Okay. So here we can use these static factory methods from the stream class to generate a stream. Let's see what else is there. Okay, so there is a generate method as well. which accepts a supplier. So we can use the generate method to get or to generate a stream by using the supplier. Let's use this as well. Now it accepts a supplier. So what we can do, maybe we can implement a supplier functional interface as an anonymous implementation. So whatever this supplier will return, it will be used as a sequence of values for the returning stream. Okay, so if I return simply maybe some value, a simple string, then it will generate a stream of string. Okay, so because we are dealing with string, so we can change it to the string data type. All right, but we don't need to write this anonymous implementation because this is a functional interface. So we can simply pass a lambda, a supplier lambda. To do that, because we know that the supplier returns a value but it doesn't accept anything, so we can simply say can remove everything, empty parenthesis, then arrow sign, the value that we want to return, and that's it. And if we print the stream and run the code, then we see another reference of the stream. But because there are no terminal operations, so there is no processing, so we can't see anything else from the stream. To test the code, what we can do, we can use the simplest terminal operation, which is for each, which will get each element from the stream, and it accepts a consumer, so we can pass the consumer and we can do something with that element. And for the simplicity, we can simply print the element so that we can see what's going on with that stream. So let's do that. If we take the first example to generate the stream from a single element, so what we can do is we can call the for each and we can simply print the element that's there in the stream. And similarly, we can remove this. Similarly, the off version, to receive or to accept multiple values, we can do the same thing. Let me copy this. And because this will, okay, we are using off nullable and passing the null value, so it will avoid the null pointer exception, but it will simply return an empty stream. So we should not see any value in the for each. And similarly, in this example, what we can do, we can simply print the same thing again. And along with this, let's add some separators. Oh, okay. So this generates actually an infinite sequential unordered stream. So let me comment this one for now. And let me run the same program again. So for the first stream, because there is a single value hello, so we see the hello on the console. Similarly, for the second stream, there are multiple values. So we generated this stream and consumed each element one by one. So we see the values apple, banana, grapes. For this one, because this is nullable and the past source is null, so we receive an empty stream, and so we don't see anything on the console. And this one we commented because what generate does, it simply returns an infinite stream. Okay, so we will see another variant of the stream in the upcoming lesson, where we will see a bounded, how can we apply a bound on the unbounded stream, and we can use that so that we can use that for some other purpose. So let's move on to the second category, which is to generate streams from the arrays. Now this time, let's say we have a string array names. Now if we have an array, we can create a stream from that array. To do that, what we can do, we can use the stream method from the arrays class, arrays.stream, and we can pass the array, and then we can use the for each method simply to test the code names. So it should be the name of the array, which is names. So to generate a stream from the array, we use the arrays.stream method. This will return the stream based on this array of names, and then we are calling the terminal operation for each. So it will start the execution of the pipeline of this stream. It will start fetching one name at a time from the source, which is basically the array, and that value will be passed to the terminal operation for each, which will simply print the value on the console. So let's run the program again. And we see the names on the console, Mike, John, and Tom. Similarly, if we have a list, again a list of string, this time list.of Java, Python. So let's say we have a collection, in this case a simple list, although it could be a set or some value set or key set from a map. But in this case we have a list, but this is a collection and we can create a stream from a collection. To do that, we simply call the stream method on the collection. So languages.stream and the same for each again. Let me copy this out. And if we run the program, so we see the names of the programming languages on the console, Java and Python. Now moving to the file section, how do we create a stream from a file? So let's say here we have a file in the source folder dummy, and it has 4 entries in the file 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we want to read this file, but with the help of stream. To do that, let's say we use the files method, files.read all lines. Now read all lines accept or expects a path. So we say paths.get and the path of the file. So this is in the src directory dummy.txt, and it throws a checked exception. So let's do that. Now let me put the semicolon here. So read all lines, what it does, it returns a collection, a list, and we know that we can create a stream from a collection. To do that, we simply call the stream method and then for each to test or to print the content of the file on the console. And let's run the program. And we see the content of the file on the console 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what it did, it first with the help of the path that we are providing, it fetched the content of the file. It generated the list of the content. Then on that list, we call the stream method to generate a stream, then a terminal operation for each in the form of for each to print the content on the console. So these are the stream generating methods, 4 main categories from the static factory method. This is the one that we need to check. We will check it in the next lesson because it generates an unbounded and infinite stream, then from the arrays, from the collection, and then from the files. So that's it for this lesson. See you in the next video. Thank you.